Methane emissions from livestock, especially cattle, are a significant problem. Now, methane produced by cows' digestion comes through their belching and their flatulence, and it warms the planet at an accelerated rate. Methane, that's today's topic. Hi, Fee here, the healthy vegan author and creator of the Gold Card Vegan resource website. In Aotearoa, New Zealand, we are concerned about meeting the Paris Agreement that we signed up for. So these commitments are for greenhouse gas emissions, currently falling very short. And this being an election year, wouldn't you think the environment would be front and centre on the campaign trail? Well, apart from the Greens, little is being said. In fact, the opposition party, National, has just come out saying they want to build a 4-lane highway from Whangarei to Tauranga. Now that's a distance of 357 kilometres, or approximately 222 miles. Talk about upping the pollution. But do any of them want to curb methane? No. National's idea, as the opposition, is to develop policies that reflect the sustainability and competitiveness of one of New Zealand's most profitable sectors, dairy, right? And the current government, Labour, they know better. They are putting their focus on reducing fossil fuel. We've managed to increase the amount of coal we import for, guess who for? The dairy giant Fonterra. The government is also attempting to clean up rivers and lakes. Well, I say good luck with that, while we have farmed animals and heavy dependence on chemical fertilisers. I can't see it really actually happening. Now, from Labour's website, we've passed the landmark Zero Carbon Act, banned offshore oil and gas exploration. Exploration being the operative word here. We're still drilling, but we're stopping the exploration. We've worked with farmers on a world-leading agreement to reduce agricultural emissions, just not yet. Invested in innovative low-carbon technology and more to help us to meet our climate goals. Well, even with all of this, our emissions have gone up, not down. Go figure. Okay, let's face it. They and other political parties are hoping that technology will fix the cows' methane release issues. I mean, they're working on it in our universities right as I'm speaking. Most of Aotearoa's gross emissions rise. The rise comes from methane producing animals like cows. And it's way more than other developed countries, per capita basis, obviously, except perhaps Uruguay. So one would think that the cows' farts, or burps if you don't like me saying the word fart, I mean that's just such a good word, but you would think that this would be the main area to look at. Well, a few years ago, I heard the funniest thing ever from the Federated Farmers Vice President. And he said, basically, my cow goes out. So that makes me think, well, is it their barn? No, cows in New Zealand are not in the barns. They're already out. My cow goes out, eats some grass, has a burp that goes up as methane, hangs around for about 12 and a half years, breaks down, grows another blade of grass, and it's a cycle that's happening all the time. I mean, it was like, what? So a cow only burps once? Perhaps this farmer, and I tell you what, he's not the only one, doesn't know how to do maths. Now, I got about 8% for national maths exam, and I was failed miserably, right, on the national exams. But even I can see the total illogical mathematical discrepancy here. So let's get a wee technical freestyle. Methane contributes to greenhouse warming 20 times that of CO2 on a per molecule basis. Now, methane may be more potent, but it only stays in the atmosphere for approximately 10, some say 12 years. Then it converts to carbon dioxide. The farmers are saying, they're grasping at this, the farmers are saying that the amount of methane going into the atmosphere is roughly equal to the amount that is leaving, because it's being converted to carbon dioxide. So really, according to them, there's no loss or gain. The burp happens today, will be converted in 12 years' time, and the burps that occurred 12 years ago are being converted today. So every day there is a conversion of past burps. So are you with me on this? Okay, so now this is where I beg to differ. In my probably illogical mind, if we keep increasing the number of farmed animals, which we are doing, and because it's not only the dairy, it's also cattle, sheep, goats, and farmed deer, plus chickens and pigs create methane from their manure, we are going to have more methane going up than what's leaving. And unless we decrease the number of farmed animals, we will always be that one burp more going up than coming down. In other words, I understand where they're coming from in regards to the methane being turned into CO2. What I'm afraid I have to disagree with is that there is a significant imbalance because we continue to breed more and more animals each year, all contributing to methane. Now, don't get me wrong, carbon emissions are also a genuine problem and fossil fuel has to go. But it pains me that our government has hedged the issue about methane. And I think it's because A, it's easier to decrease carbon emissions than methane, and more likely, the dairy industry is such a money puller for Aotearoa. They don't want to upset them. Right, so our government has proposed 3 pathways to net zero emissions by 2050. Right, the first option, net zero in carbon dioxide. No mention of methane. The second option, net zero in all emissions. That includes methane. And the third option, I'm kind of thinking this is the one that they will go for, net zero in carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide and stabilize methane. It's just so cool, isn't it? I mean, so does this mean that we are going to reduce the animal numbers back to what they were 12 and a half years ago? Methane might be the shortest lived gas, but wow, we have so much of it that it's actually the biggest lot of gas that we emit. One would think we would tackle that first. Now, Dr. Raymond T. Perry-Humbert, right, he's a climate scientist at the University of Chicago, and he said it best. Methane is like a hangover that you can get over if you stopped drinking. CO2 is more like lead poisoning. It sticks around, you don't get rid of it, and it causes irreversible harm. It's important that we address CO2, obviously. But as I said, we are producing more methane than any other gas. So wouldn't it be easier to get over the hangover first by drastically reducing the number of agricultural animals and then tackle the CO2 emissions. What can you say? Go vegan. That'll sort the problem in just overnight. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, I'd love to hear what you have to say, and subscribe if you want more of my content. Remember to have great food, make it plant-based, and be compassionate to all animals, even humans. Bye for now.